which is the worst, where the criminal and worse people are. So now I will show you another series. So this series, I'm showing it.
I'm sorry, can I ask you?
Yeah,
As I know about these buildings, unfinished buildings, it's basically because it is more cheaper to keep the buildings this way, so the taxes are not as high. This is why they leave the buildings unfinished.
I think we don't have, we cannot say only this. I think it's many different reasons. Well, it can be one of those reasons. It can be that you have really a lot of poverty, and I did another short series where you have really people living on the roof, in this case, and it's really like a favela on the roof. So you have different aspects. Yes, there is a real matter of poverty. You have this reason, and then you have to mix to have a complete answer.
And also I wanted to ask, why have you decided to change the views? So you didn't have the similar view for the whole...
Why did I? Because it was, in my work, I'm not working only in a conceptual way. There is an emotional, really point of view which is very important. So I wasn't having a precise mark where I was staying always. I was just a little bit moving according to what was going on with the light and some details. So it's a little bit moving, as I was a little bit moving. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have lost my sleep, so maybe I have to write. So this is a series that you can see in the show actually in OSL. This series is made in Marseille, so it's a photographic series with similar condition. I mean, a big size camera, 8x10, and long time exposure. It's made in an area called the Belzunce-La Joliette, which is in Marseille, the Arabic area. So here it's precisely La Joliette, and it's a group of buildings which were built at the end of 19th century in 1870, and it's called Osman architecture. And those buildings, yes, I told you this for one reason. It's because those buildings were built for gentry people, for bourgeoisie, and even, sorry, I catch a cold, so for me today it's a little bit difficult to talk. So those buildings were built and were made for bourgeois people, and this architecture is is more than, I mean, I can say it's a really bourgeois architecture. It's kind of a social declaration. But now this area, since the 60s, have completely changed. And this area became, in the 60s, an area of immigration. In Marseille, there is a lot of, I'll show you another photo. There is a lot of immigration from North Africa, of course. So Algeria, mainly, Tunisia, Morocco, and Africa, and Comores too. So each photo has the title of the photo is when it was taken, the date. No, yes, the date. So I was telling you, since the 60s, those area became very popular and very not popular, very become immigration places of immigration, and immigrants are living now in those buildings. And of course, it's not the same population. Those buildings were kept in very bad conditions, and the owners are not taking care of them at all. So there is a group of 6 buildings, and I was working there for 2 years. Each building has a courtyard, which is closed, as you can see. And those courtyards have different shapes. Some are rectangular, some are pure square, I was working there, as I did with Bovo2 for a complete cycle. So I was working there for 2 years just to do a complete cycle of a year. So to have shooting of not each day on the month, but a shooting of a day of each month. When I was coming in this place, I was used to this place because a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, is living there for many years. So I was used to go there for visiting her. And always when I was getting in those courtyards, which are really very, very, some of them very dark, and my first reaction was to look to the sky, because, and this is an interesting point too, at the same, there is for prison, the structure of the prison was at the end of the 19th century, in fact, the structure with a courtyard was the structure was the most used, and it was fixed at this period. So it's interesting to see that you have same characteristic which are devoted to very different use, in fact, because the courtyard was really used a lot at this period, and fixed, this form was fixed at this period, and you find it here. But I'll show you something else. So you can see, yeah. So now to finish with this series, and I will show you quickly another one, and we can finish on a short video, which is very short. The thing I was telling you is that the perspective was very important for me, because in fact the architecture becomes a frame to the sky, but this architecture is, I was most interested in, not in architecture, but in the way people are living in architecture, and how poor people can live in bourgeois architecture, and how the way they are living in this architecture is a kind of resistance in a way. So every detail is important, and especially the laundry, the clothes hanging on, which are very modest and daily time details. Because of course you have the clothes are very close to body. It's something very close, and there is no people in my photos, but at the same time you have all the signs of people living, like the lights in the flats, in the apartments, the clothes, the laundry hanging, and things like this. And yeah, I wanted to say something more. Just I choose this vertical way of presentation because the vertical way of presentation is more, they are standing up. So it's, and if you present those photos in a horizontal way, they became more narrative. In this case, they are standing up. So at the same time, you have something very spiritual, because the center of the image is a pure monochrome, and is the sky. And when I came in those courtyards, I was remembering of the spirit photos, which were taken at the end of spirit photos, yes, I think you can, which were taken at the end of century, and in a way, the clothes hanging, it's like ghosts. So I finished with the series of design, which is the main series I am presenting in OSL. During the time it's coming, I present through this series. So design are made. It's a series of 12 photos made in similar building and in similar area than Cour Intérieure. So you have the same social situation. So they were porches, I think, entrance of building. So it's a shame to see them such out of focus, because the quality of the surface is very important for this series. So I did this series, as I told you, in the same place, It's a complete monochrome series, so maybe I can just, for starting, explain the title. I mean, I suppose most of you know what grisaille is. So the point was that in this place, this group of buildings, they all have entrances painted in grey. And the grey looks like being from the time where the buildings were built. And that when you have this kind of grey color on architecture, you call it grisaille. Because most of the time it's a way to do fake stone. But grisaille are a lot of other things, and of course in religious painting you have grisaille. In Middle Age and early Renaissance, in Catholic Church, when it's during time of carême, so during the Pâques, Easter, when you don't have to eat. So this is carême. And in church, they were used to close the paintings which were in color to not be disturbed by the life of the color. And on the reverse, on the other side of the painting, there were paintings in black and white, so-called grisaille. And it was if life was in stone, or like a marble life. And in this architecture, in a way, it was something like this. Because, in fact, you have many layers of history. You have the first layer, which is the layer of the time that this building were built. You have the layer of the reference to grisaille and all this. And then you have all the details that time have been brought to the place. So I show you the whole theory. It's these are the scanner I was using for doing the book. So this is the reason you see. Yeah, I wanted to say something too. Is that I print all those photos in analogic way, not in a digital way. Which for me is important because sometimes you are really very strong, it's really very colorful, or you have strange lights. So in a way it's a very documentary way of working because I don't reframe and I don't use computer after work process. Yeah, so I was telling you in those buildings, is each time they were they are not kept in good condition. So when they use something, when they use a pipe or electricity, they just put a pipe, whatever, if there is a stucco or things like this. So all those details are dialoguing with, so all those details are dialoguing each other or are in contradiction each other. For example, you have a lot of traces of children playing football on all the stuccos and all the ceilings. The second point is that I was using the same view and the same perspective, and then you are lost in perception of space, which was very important for me because the ceiling is not. It was a way to work on architecture and, but at the same time on sculpture, on drawing, because it's like a plan, or on yes, painting, because this question of monochrome. And yes, the last point was that gray is connected to black and white photography most of the time. When gray is, it's very rare to have gray in photography, of course, to have gray in color. So for me, was another reason to do this work, because it's a different perception of gray to have it in color. I don't zoom inside them because you really have not a good. It's a pity because you cannot see it, but in some in the ceiling you have some traces of football, and so the surfaces of the ceiling and of the wall became, because of time, because of this layer of history, because of this poverty in this place, they become like being skin and with scars, in fact. With these images. As you see, the theory, in this theory I was using two different ways of showing the images. Some are vertical. In fact, you have 6 images vertical and 6 images which are horizontal. There was many reasons for this, but the main reason was because we are out of traditional direction, and the circulation in the place was a circulation from left to right and from en haut et en bas. I'm sorry, I don't find now the English name. So gauche, droite, haut, bas. And so this is the reason why. So it makes a kind of, in fact, the circulation, because of all these doors and the corridors, make a kind of small labyrinth, in fact. And yes, and I can finish with this, and we see the video. José Luis Borges, who is a writer from Argentina, has a very nice short story, very nice novel, in which the time is supposed to be a labyrinth, because in fact in this story you can exist or not exist in different time, and in a way you have this very big surfaces of ceilings, for me, were working with time as labyrinths. But you were being in different times, but they are okay. I finish with this, and now we see last video I presented shortly. It's a video I did in 2009. I mean, I filmed it in 2009 and did the video properly in 2010. It's a short video called the Subak. That means watermelon in Korea. I spent 3 weeks there, and I was having a project of doing this in Marseille, but I did many tests in Marseille and it didn't fit. And then I tried in Seoul, and the place was perfect for this project. And watermelon, you have a lot, because it's really something that you can find in the streets very easily. They are a lot, and that you can find in temple. Some are as a gift to a Buddhist temple, for example.